Hello viewers, welcome once again to this channel, Joe Mwai's channel, a channel that purposes or aim to give us insights relating to our spirituality, relating to who we are as intelligent beings. I believe that I've got insights that may enable you to realize your full potential as who you are, not just as a human being, but as an intelligent being, or rather as a celestial being, a being with immense power, almost unlimited power that may enable you to achieve anything that you may desire or that you may aspire for in your life. So let us walk together. Continue to listen to this channel, continue to subscribe to the channel, that you may get insights. As I believe that these are insights, they have changed me in many ways. I write books, I have several books that I've written. I have managed to do a lot of things to attain a lot of achievements through the insights that I'm gonna give to you. So in my last videos, I talked about the St. Paul, who is the father of, I believe to be the father of modern metaphysics, and the effect of the Roman rule on the doctrine that Jesus had brought, and what that effect may imply today. I showed in my last video that the effect, or some of the effect of the Roman rule, are based on the threat that this new doctrine posed to their rule, which had been in operation for over 400 years during that time, or during the coming of Christ, and how it was sweeping, it was spreading like wildfire all over the world, people getting converted, people changing by selling their properties and bringing the proceeds to church to be shared equally amongst everyone, and as a result of that, affected and impacted upon the pure. It showed pure love, a love that we don't see today, a love that we have not seen before, a love that no other doctrine or gospel had ever attempted to bring to the world. And as a result of the effect that it appeared, and the danger that it appeared to pose to the Roman Empire, I narrated how the Roman Empire embraced this new religion and made it theirs by formalizing it, containing it, to a point where they educated, or they said that the same Jesus that was being waited upon to come and take his church and rule them for 1,000 years before taking them to heaven, had stated that he would, or had talked to some of them and told them to choose a representative who will represent him before his coming, and thus the emergence of the Pope, and how they then took the letters of the disciples and put them into one book of the Bible, which was first written in Latin, and hid the original letters in the Vatican under lock and key, where 2,000 years later it is still hidden and it is not accessible to anyone else apart from very few people, possibly in the Vatican. And the question is why? Why would they refuse to release these letters unless it has a very significant implication that may enable people to understand the reality of what they wrote in a different light? And this is what my channel is about. This is what metaphysics is about. It's not just about that, but that's a part of it. It's a part of this understanding in order for us to understand who we are, why we haven't changed, why Christianity, for example, the largest religion, or the biggest religion in the world, has not helped to change our lives in ways that we may imagine. Because we see poor people who are suffering out of hunger, out of diseases and lack and sheer suffering of every form, who are adherent and very strong Christians, in fact forming almost the majority, and yet their suffering does not cease. Irrespective of the prayer, the fasting, and all the things that they do, they are told by their leaders to do, including a point where now the leaders are taking advantage of telling the people you need to plant a seed. And therefore, if you want a miracle, if you want God to do something for you, plant a seed, take some money to the church, money that you already don't have. A lot of people have committed suicide. A lot of people have left the church after being swindled of thousands of money. And nothing has happened. So I want us to focus upon this and to continue to expound on it in that understanding. So I showed that Jesus knew about the conniving of the Roman Empire in his parable of the farmer who asked his workers to go and plant wheat. But then upon waking up the following day, the wheat had mixed up. There was bastard wheat amongst the wheat. And I explained that bastard wheat is the wheat which is a plant that looks exactly 100% like wheat. But the only difference is that it does not produce the barley, the seed itself. And I expounded upon the metaphysical implication or metaphysical implication or connection between that parable and what may have happened at the transferring of the letters of the disciples and the apostles into the Bible by the Roman rule. So today we'll continue with that, and I want us to focus again upon that effect, the effect of the Roman rule. So they have formalized this religion, Christian date, and called it Christianity, and set up a church and set up one day where people will now go congregate together, and they will, one person would be given the word of the day through the Vatican, and it will be sent to all the heads of the churches of all over the world, which is what the Catholic Church does. And I'm not against the Catholic Church at all, but this is a fact. Whereas, so where the leaders of this congregation would then read and preach the same gospel, so the same gospel will be read throughout the world. So, and I showed I stated that the Bible itself, according to Google, has been changed around 8 times, and in the last 20 years, about 40 verses have been expuned from the Bible, and especially in the app, the soft app that we read, that we download and put it in our gadgets, in our phones, in our iPads, and in our laptops and computers and everywhere. And as a result of that, that is different. So the effect of that is found in the book of Revelation. And in the book of the Revelation, as we see John being given the word or being shown what will come to happen, there is a connection, and that connection is on the basis of the children of Israel, where he was shown that the Antichrist, the coming of the Antichrist, would come and will come and masquerade as an angel of light, and he will be calling upon fire from heaven, and people will believe him to be God sent, especially the children of Israel. And it's not until when he will go to the holy place that the children of Israel, and demand to be worshipped by the children of Israel, that they will realize that they have been duped. And they will run away, as the story goes. They will run away into the mountains, and they will call upon the mountains to fall upon them, but the mountain will not fall upon them. They will want to die, but death will have no effect upon them. And we see the effect of this period. And although this is metaphorical, I take the implication of that book of Revelation, or that particular part in the book of Revelation, as being in line with the abuse or the contamination of the Bible during the transferring by the Roman Empire, where the children of Israel is you and I, the hearer of the word, where we believed in the word. And as we believed in the word, we took it as the gospel truth. And whereas the word, even the contaminated, the word in the Bible has power, the Antichrist, I take the word of God to be the wheat, the bastard wheat to be the Antichrist. The Antichrist has power, and that power, which is the power of the word that has been contaminated. And don't get me wrong, it's not all the word in the Bible that is wrong, but it's actually that possibility of that aspect of the wrong word being put by the Roman Empire in their bid to try to contain this religion and control it. So, the children of Israel, you and I, specifically I'm an adherent of the Christian faith, have been second to the pastor in the charismatic church, in every church that I went to throughout the UK. You know, I called upon over 4 times by 4 different pastors to be ordained as a pastor. And I went to God, my secret place, and I prayed and I told God, if you want me to preach your word, give me wisdom, such that I can sit down with an atheist, a physicist, atheist, and be able to give him your word until he's converted. And that is the beginning of my journey over 25 years to metaphysics, to where I am today. And to many who goes to the church and have pride, especially we find that very common in the Western society where civilization has so advanced, and with the young people who goes to church and they ask many questions and the leaders are not able to answer them, but in a sense tells them that some of these things of God, they are best left alone, and that you cannot question God, even though in the book, I think of Ezekiel, he says, come, let us reason together, test the spirits. Yet we are told, no, some of these things, just let them go. And therefore, the children of Israel who come to realize that chaff, bastard wheat, has been mixed with wheat, or the wrong one, the Antichrist. It's not the physical like we have been made to believe and wait for him. And hence, anybody who appears to have a different doctrine is regarded cautiously, lest he be the Antichrist. But the Antichrist is already come, according to metaphysics. And that the Antichrist is the wrong word in the Bible. And this wrong word in the Bible, as people come to realize the contradictory, for example, we are told, according to the Old Testament, Genesis, that the world was created 6,000 years ago, or man. Yet we have evidence of the world has been millions of years, man having lived in the world for millions of years. So when people start to question that, then they start to doubt, then they start to their faith in God, in the Bible, starts to wane. But because as leaders we are not able to go deeper and try to understand and try to gather facts from the source, from God himself, that's the essence of my meditation, then we are leading people astray. So we shall continue with this discussion. In the meantime, continue to subscribe to this channel, continue to share, to like this channel and share it with like-minded, continue to send comments, ask questions, tell us what you think. Until then, adios, amigos.